Hello friends, here we are again walking up into the treehouse for a very special day. Today in the treehouse we are going to talk all about tea parties. And as you can see, I have some special friends that are joining me today for our special tea party day. Hi, do you like my fancy hat? Sometimes at tea parties, it's fun to wear a hat. I'm Miss Mo from the Wichita Children's Theater and Dance Center, and we're going to have a really fun day today in the treehouse, having a tea party, hearing some fun stories, playing some fun games, and learning about the history of tea. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started. Have you ever had a tea party? Or been to a tea party? Tea parties are so fun. One thing is having guests at a tea party. And I have a giraffe and Miss Elephant and Mr. Bear here with me today to have a wonderful tea party. But before we get started, before we get started on our tea party, I want to read a book. This book is called Jenny's Bear. Jenny had hundreds of bears of all shapes and sizes, and she loved them all. But what she wanted most in all the world was to meet a real live bear. "Mom," she said one morning, "if we make a nice, cozy sort of den in the shed, would a real bear come and live in it?" "I don't think so," Mom said kindly. "There aren't any real bears around here." "Not even if I wished very hard?" asked Jenny. "I'm afraid not," said Mom, "but we can make a den just for you and your toy bears, if you like." The shed was in a terrible state. "Phew," said Mom, "I've never seen such a mess. It must have been years since this place was last cleaned." "It's no wonder there aren't any bears living around here, if all the sheds are this messy," said Jenny seriously. "No wonder at all," said Mom. When the den was ready, Jenny moved her bears in, so that if a real bear did come, he would feel right at home. "There," she said, "now you look just right. I have to go in for lunch, but you keep a watch for me, and if a bear turns up, be sure to make him feel welcome." All through lunch, Jenny kept wishing for a real bear to be waiting for her back in the den. And then she hurried out to the shed with a tray full of special things for the bear to eat. But the den was just as she left it. There was no sign of a real bear anywhere. "Phooey," said Jenny. But she set down her tea things and her books just the same and sat down to wait patiently. Jenny and the bears waited and waited, and just when it seemed that nobody was ever coming, there was a knock at the door. "Come in," said Jenny, and in stepped the biggest, brownest, friendliest looking bear she had ever seen. "Hello," he said. "I hope you don't mind me popping in, but I've come all the way from the wild north, searching for somewhere to spend the winter, and this is by far the coziest looking place I found." "Oh, "Of course I don't mind," said Jenny. "I made this den specially for bears, and I've been wishing for a bear all day." Then Jenny set the bear down and told him to help himself to the food. He had cakes and cookies and custard, which he thought was wonderfully wobbly. But he was not at all sure about the tea Jenny poured out for him. He said, "this cup doesn't look very full. What kind of tea is it?" "It's pretend tea," said Jenny. "Oh, that's all right then," said the bear. "Pretend tea is the kind that bears like best." And he drank it all up in one sip. "Another cup, please," he said, "but not so much sugar this time, thank you." Then Jenny showed the bear her books. "Which one would you like first?" she asked. "The happy one or the sad one?" "The sad one," said the bear, "as long as it's not too sad." "But it was too sad." Blubbered the bear. "Stop it. You're making me cry." And a big tear ran down his furry face. So Jenny read the funny story to cheer him up. "Ho, ho, ho," roared the bear. "No more, no more. My sides are going to split." And they both rolled around on the floor till the whole shed shook. "That was fun," said the bear. "What shall we do now?" "I've got this," said Jenny, holding up a small bottle. "Bubbles," said the bear. "However did you guess? All bears love blowing bubbles." Outside, Jenny and the bear blew hundreds of shimmering bubbles. "You're very good at this," said Jenny. "My whole family are champion bubble blowers," said the bear. "My granddad once blew a bubble that was so big it took him right up into the air and carried him hundreds of miles away." "Wow," said Jenny. "Did he ever get home again?" "Oh, yes," said the bear. "He wrapped himself in brown paper and mailed himself back. He was a very clever bear." By the end of the day, Jenny and the bear were the closest of friends. So Jenny was very sad when the bear said that it was time for him to go. "But you said you were going to stay for the winter," she said. "Yes," said the bear. "It's not winter yet, though, and I've got lots of things to do first." "Oh, you will come back, won't you?" said Jenny. "And bring your friends?" "I'll try," said the bear, "but remember to keep wishing." He gave Jenny a special bear hug and set off down the road. Jenny waved until the bear was out of sight and then went indoors for supper. The next morning, Jenny jumped out of bed, dressed quickly, and ran out to the shed. But the den was empty. The big brown bear, who liked stories and blowing bubbles, was not there. "What's the matter?" said Mom. "My bear's gone," said Jenny. "Cheer up," said Mom. "You know there really wasn't a bear, don't you?" The weeks went by and the weather got colder, but though there was still no sign of the bear, Jenny didn't forget him. "There was a bear," she said to herself, "and he will come back. I just have to keep wishing." Then one morning, Jenny drew back the curtains, looked out the window, and saw something magical in the snowy garden. She tugged on her coat and boots and ran out for a better look. "A snow bear!" she gasped. And then she saw huge prints in the snow. She followed them all the way to the shed. Everything was quite silent as she carefully pushed open the door. "Surprise!" roared a chorus of growly voices. The shed was crowded with bears, real bears of every shape and size, and right in the middle sat Jenny's bear. "I said I'd come back," he said, "and this time I've brought the tea. and there's plenty for everyone." "What kind of tea?" laughed Jenny. "Why, pretend tea, of course," said the bear. "Oh, good," said Jenny. "That's the kind I like best." The end. Pretend tea is the kind of tea we're going to have at our tea party today. Tea is usually served in a teapot, but it's not cooked in a teapot. The first step to making tea is to boil the water in a tea kettle, and the kettle is what you put on the stove. It is made of metal and it can get hot, and it can get your tea very hot. Then you're going to pour your hot water into your teapot. Now, today we have lots of tea bags, and this is tea that is in a little bag that the water can flow through. But there's also things like this that you can put loose tea in, and the hot water will go through all the little holes, and then the tea will make your water into tea. Tea comes from leaves of a tea bush. It grows, and then they pick the leaves and dry the leaves, and that's how we get regular tea. But you can also have herbal tea, which is tea that comes from herbs like chamomile or mint. So there's different kinds of tea. After you put your water from your kettle into your teapot and your tea leaves, you let it sit for a while. Sometimes we think about tea parties as having lots of manners. They have tea almost every day in England, and there's lots of different manners and lots of little snacks. I have some little pies and some strawberries and some cookies, and sometimes there's cream. Some people like to put cream or milk in their tea. Some people like to put lemons in their tea. When my daughter was little and we had tea parties, she would like to put orange juice in here and put orange juice in her tea. And then there's also sugar you can put in your tea. There are sugar cubes, which are really fun and dainty to put in your teacup and make your tea sweet. So let's pour some tea for everyone. One thing when you're pouring tea is hold on to the top of the teapot so it doesn't fall off. There's some tea for Mr. Giraffe, and some tea for our elephant, and some tea for our bear, and some tea for me. When you're at a tea party, using your best manners is always very important. Don't sit with your elbows on the table. Sit up straight, and if you need something, ask politely. "Would you like a strawberry, Mr. Elephant?" "Yes, please." Or what if Mr. Bear said, "Could you please pass me a strawberry?" "Yes, I would be happy to." Having good manners at a tea party always makes it more enjoyable for all of your guests. Tea parties are fun. And a lot of times it's fun to dress up for a tea party. That's why everyone is wearing their fancy hats for a tea party. There are different kinds of tea parties that you can have. I have a tea party book, a teddy bear tea party, like Jenny did. A Valentine tea party is something my family has every year. We have a fancy tea party for Valentine's Day. A royal tea party. Sometimes we think of tea as very British and royal and fancy, like a king or a princess or a queen would have. So having a royal tea party would be really fun as well. Today we're going to talk about an artist named Mary Cassatt. And Mary Cassatt was an artist from America, but she actually painted and lived in Paris, France, where she was very rare because there were not a lot of female artists during this time, and she devoted her whole life to art. She was part of the Impressionists, just like Claude Monet, who we've talked about before, and most of Mary Cassatt's paintings were of mothers and children. So we have some paintings that Mary did of some tea parties. We are very fortunate here in Wichita to own a Mary Cassatt painting at the Wichita Art Museum. Have you ever sang the song, I'm a Little Teapot, where you put your one hand on your hip to make a handle and your other hand to stick out like the spout, and you sing a little song, right, and tip over at the end? Well, this book is all about the song I'm a Little Teapot, but we actually follow this teapot on some other adventures. If you want, do the actions with me at least here at the beginning and make a handle with one of your arms and make a tea spout with your other arm. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Just tip me over and pour me out. I'm a little teapot, come see me. Oh, how I'd love your company. Sitting on the stove so patiently, I wait for someone to make tea. I'm a little teapot, I'll show you all of the things that I'd like to do. It's a game I play the whole day through. Now let me share my dreams with you. I'm a little teapot, on that note, we're off to China, grab your coat. We can fly a kite and row our boat and eat with chopsticks as we float. I'm a little teapot, si senor, all over Mexico we can tour. I'll become a mighty matador and fight the bull while you keep score. I'm a little teapot, watch me fly, just like a spaceship in the sky. On another planet way up high, we'll meet an alien eye to eye. I'm a little teapot, la la la, let's take a trip to the opera. You can sing a lovely aria, and I'll play in the orchestra. I'm a little teapot, hey, let's play pirates at sea on a windy day. Back and forth our sailing ship will sway. Ahoy, my mateys, find the way. I'm a little teapot, tally-ho, off on a fox hunt we will go. Racing with the hounds our trumpets blow. Now where on earth did that fox go? I'm a little teapot, peekaboo. Deep in the jungle I'll hide with you. You can try to find me. If you do, then you can hide and I'll find you. Peekaboo. I'm a little teapot, golly gee. Thank you for sharing my dreams with me. Now I'd really like to make some tea for all your friends and family. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. Tip me over gently, pour me out, for that's what tea time's all about. about. And you can see on this last page some of our friends from the book. We have the fox over here. We have the alien and the bull. And here is the end of the Chinese kite. And a dog. So I thought that was a really fun story about some of the things that the teapot might be imagining. Let's play a game. This is a Tea Party I Spy game. Do you see all the different pictures from a tea party? Can you find a slice of cake? Can you find a pink teapot? Can you find a green tea bag? Can you find a cupcake? Can you find a sugar bowl? And a sugar bowl usually has a lid, so that is a hint for you. Can you find a blue teapot? Can you find a green teapot? Can you find a cake that has 4 layers? What a fun tea party game. I hope you have a chance to have a tea party at home. You can have a tea party with your stuffed animals and dolls. You can have pretend tea and pretend to pour it out. Pick up your cup and saucer and be very gentle when you sip your cup and hold it very daintily. I had such a fun time with you today at our tea party. This is Miss Mo from the Wichita Children's Theater and Dance Center having a tea party in our treehouse. I can't wait to see you soon at the Wichita Children's Theater. Say goodbye to my friends at our tea party. We're going to continue having some polite conversation and talking about the lovely things and enjoying our fruits and cookies and tea. There are printables available at our Children's Theater website, and in the comments below this video there's a fun tea maze, and there's some really fun tea party coloring sheets that you can print off and design. There's so many beautiful tea sets in the world, and I hope that you have enjoyed this tea party with us today.